What's good, everyone? It's your girl, Dr. Beauty, and I am going to be reviewing episode 6 of season 4 Insecure, titled Lowkey Done. Before I continue, just want to make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more content. Let's get into it. So it's the morning after the block party, and obviously Issa feels like crap after the fight with Molly. So she's looking through social media and she's seeing that, generally speaking, there's pretty positive reviews about her block party. Then she's having a conversation with Mirror Issa, trying to figure out what she should do in terms of apologizing or not apologizing to Molly, and she comes to the conclusion that she has every right to feel mad and she's just going to take her time and let things go as they flow. So she's going to have a self-care Sunday, and as we see in the remaining scenes of the show, it turns out to be anything but. She gets a call from Nathan, her boo, and he's just checking in, trying to figure out, how she feels about the fight with Molly, and she kind of lets on that she's not feeling okay, but she doesn't really want to go into too much detail. And honestly, in this scene, I was very proud of Nathan because he came a long way from ghosting on Issa in the previous seasons, and now he's actually showing more compassion and concern for Issa and her well-being, so I think that's a positive step in the right direction. So I don't know how Issa let Self-Care Sunday turn into this circus that ensues, but she ends up seeing this girl at the grocery store who may or may not be pregnant. Personally, I think that she stuffed her stomach with a basketball trying to get some free groceries in the line, and Issa's card declines. So embarrassing. It's almost as if she low-key does feel guilty about what happened with Molly, and she is trying to do right by all these strangers to fill the void, but it's just very interesting to see how the rest of the episode flows. So Issa lets this strange gentleman into her car, and he missed the bus. She felt bad, so she's like, okay, somehow this is going to make things right with the universe and my karma, so let me give him a ride to where he's going. So she gets back into lift mode, and she's like, hey, let me take you to where you're going. So he doesn't really give her a straight answer or directions to his destination, but they're in the car going on and on about anything but what she wants to really talk about, which is how does she get back on good terms with Molly. So this was a very cringeworthy scene, and honestly, I don't think it was needed, but I guess it was just included for comedic relief. Then Issa meets these 3 ladies at a sip and paint event, and they're having a good old time. She's feeling like she's really connecting with them, and they ditch her at dinner. How sad. And Kyla Pratt made a little appearance in there. I was like, hey Kyla. But yeah, they ditched her, and she's just feeling like crap. Like, she lost her best friend. Her event in her mind was ruined because someone pulled a gun out at the end of the last episode, and now this. How much worse could the day get? So Issa just breaks down and she's like, you know what? I need to go talk to my mama. So she calls her mom, goes over, talks to her, and it's really interesting because this season we're seeing a lot more of who Issa is behind all the smoke and mirrors. And she's got what seems to be a somewhat complicated relationship with her mom, but at the end of the day, she's able to go and vent to her, which I think was really great. So Issa's leaving her mom's place, and Kelly has the audacity to call Issa, and she's like, hey girl, how come you haven't called Molly yet? And she's like, did you keep that same energy with Molly? Because it just seems to Issa that she's always the one reaching out and apologizing, and this time she feels that she's owed an apology, and I actually do agree with her on this one. So Kelly asked her a question, which was really important, I think, for this episode, which was, if Molly doesn't reach out to you, are you just going to leave it like that? Are you guys just going to be over? And she doesn't really have an answer for that, and I don't think, quite frankly, that she cares. So this is an episode where Issa's really putting herself and her feelings first. So Issa goes home and she's looking online again, trying to start replying to all the comments that were left on what appears to be the block party event page. And I was just cheering her on because she was giving so much positivity back to the posters and telling them, hey, don't worry, the next event's coming up. And I think that she's really coming into her own. She did have some trouble kind of explaining what it is that she actually does to the group of ladies that were at the Sip and Paint event. However, I think that the block party gave her some more perspective as to what she wants to do and where she sees herself in her community. So I think that this was a really great scene that showed her not just moping and wallowing in her own pain, but actually uplifting herself. In the next scene, Issa decides to go get something to eat, and lo and behold, Molly just happens to be sitting there eating as well. So Issa's debating with herself whether or not she wants to go inside, and most likely imagining the possible confrontation that could ensue between them again if she makes her presence known. So at the end of the day, Issa decides not to go in. And I totally appreciate that moment that she had, that little debate that she had with herself, because she is really just trying to figure out what she would say if she were given the opportunity to talk to Molly again. And at the same time, you can see how Molly kind of just seems unbothered. And I think Issa just said, you know what, if my feelings don't matter to this girl and she's out here just eating and possibly waiting for Andrew to come join her, you know, it's like not even worth it trying to apologize to her or feeling guilty. So she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go get some food from somewhere else and I'm gonna head home. And that's how the episode ends. So the next couple episodes, I hope, shed some more light on how both of these characters, Issa and Molly, are thriving without each other, because they really are going to have to grow on their own before coming back together. However, we don't know if they're going to be friends again. We also need to know how this fight is going to impact the dynamic between the four friends, and we need to know what is going on with Lawrence. Why did he and Condola, or as we see on Twitter, Condolences, Condolisa, and every other connotation of her name that has been known to this season, what happened between them? Why did they break up? My thoughts, I really do think that she realized that Lawrence wasn't fully over Issa, and they ended up breaking up. So maybe we'll be seeing that in the next coming episodes, and possibly some talks of postpartum depression with Tiffany. In the last episode, they did seem to hint pretty heavily at this being a possible topic in the coming episodes. So those are my 2 cents for this episode, and I really did feel that at some points it was a filler episode, because I did want to see some interaction with Issa and Molly, but I do understand that it's playing out pretty naturally, because most of us wouldn't jump directly into talking to our friend after a giant fight. But we'll see what happens in the coming episodes. Let me know in your comments what your predictions are, and until next time, deuces.